Alright, you guys, this video is going to be a little bit more in-depth guide to my Xbox controller configuration that I'm using to play full real battle or simulated battles, sorry, in War Thunder. Um, the I'll have a link to the forum post that I created that has the file that you can download. It's on the War Thunder forum, so you have to be a member. But I'll put the link below. And this is just going to go a little bit more in depth on adjustments and stuff that you can make to fit your fighting style, your flight style, what you prefer. Um, and so I am going to just really quick walk you through on getting the file. So I just have my monitor capture on right now, and we are going to just exit. Let's see. Go to my content. And here is the forum post that shows what each button does, and it gives a little just short description on sensitivities and stuff like that. But what you do is you just click on the .blk file. This is the file straight from the game. You want to save file, click OK. Plane 1 BLK, click save. I'm just going to select no because I already have it. And then once you are in game, make sure you just plug your controller in, whether it can be a wired Xbox 360 controller. If it is a wireless Xbox 360 controller, you need to buy a wireless receiver for your PC, and they run around $15. You can get them online or through Best Buy and stuff like that. There's a link in the forum post for that as well. And you can also use PS3 controller just by plugging it in with the plug-and-play, which does not work for the Xbox controller. And so once you have your Xbox controller plugged in, it's going to recognize it, and War Thunder will recognize it and recognize its own controller layout. And what you want to do is reset your control layout to mouse and keyboard advanced. It'll probably default to Xbox 360 controller mouse and keyboard, but redo it to mouse and keyboard advanced, click select, and then go down to import file and find your .plane1.blk and just open the file. It'll load it for you. It'll load all of the button layouts. Now where things start to get tricky is with the one stick as look and the other stick controlling the plane, for the most part, the look control has the ability to, if I look right, and I will show you right. If I look right, my head will move right. So if I'm flying something like the Corsair, normally I can't see out the back of my plane. With the controller, when I turn my head right, my head moves right. So I actually peek around the edge of the plane. So planes like this, the Thunderbolt, the Typhoon, the Tempest, you can see behind the seat, behind the armor plating. So it gives you nice rear vision. And that is good for a lot of the American planes, but when you are sitting offset in the German planes, it causes sort of an issue, and I'll show you how to correct that. And how you correct it is you go into view controls, and down at the very bottom, it's head movement left and right. And so it should be where it enables access when you're holding the left trigger down. This should be there. And all you mess with is the multiplier. So I had it on 0.7, and that's so when I'm flying something like a G10 or a Focke-Wulf, my head doesn't project through the glass. And you can go all the way down to 0.2. And if you just want to completely disable the head movement left and right, all you have to do is come up here and click not assign. And then click OK. So that's one of the, and I move that depending on which plane I'm flying, just so it's comfortable, but not glitchy unless I want it glitchy. Sometimes I do want it to be a little OP. And the other thing a lot of people want to mess around with is your point of view or your field of view, and that's under the zoom axis. And so what you do is you make the axis, what I've done is made the zoom axis the left trigger, but I've dropped the multiplier completely down. So when you hold the left trigger down, you don't actually zoom at all. And then the correction is what is when the correction is how far your field of view is. So if I bring my correction to 0, I'm going to be pretty zoomed into my sight. I'll be 50% zoomed into my sight. So from a 0% field of view where you have the widest range. And I like it on all the way out, so I have that wide angle. But some people don't like the wide angle and would prefer 0. So you just bump that back up to 0, you're good to go. Your maximum and reset for the zoom button is still your left bumper, so, and your right mouse button if you're flying bombers. And so that's how you change your field of view. You can also have it zoomed in, but that's real uncomfortable. So that's just something to keep in mind. I don't know if there's a lot of other really fine-tuned adjustments besides sensitivities. When you're first starting, you want your roll axis to be full and your pitch and yaw to be completely empty. And that just lets your thumb get used to this extra, because that little joystick is a lot more sensitive to your input. So if you're moving that joystick a lot, it's going to move a lot in game. So you're going to want to keep them all the way down until you get pretty trained. And I have a ton of hours, and I prefer what I have right here is just 4 bars in pitch, yaw completely empty, and roll completely full. And then really the stick layout is what makes it. The button layout, as far as on the form pose, feel free to move those buttons wherever you want. If one is not in the right spot, like the config that you will download, the drop bombs and fire rockets are both going to be on the Y button. And what I've done is move my fire rockets to my machine. It's also the same as my machine guns. And so in case I'm flying something that I have both bombs and rockets, I can fire them separately. But when I fire my rockets, I do give a little machine gun. And that's just something that I've changed. It's easier to remember if it's both on the same button, because there's only like 2 or 3 planes that really optimize both bombs and rockets. So that is why I haven't switched the file online yet, or that's why I'm not going to, because you have the option to just switch it on your own. So that's another thing that you might want to switch. Otherwise, I really don't think there's much else to switch to move around and adjust. Some people were saying that their left stick wasn't working, and that's because you want this enable view axis was not enabled. It was disabled, so the view axes don't work, which you need to look around. So make sure you have that selected. Otherwise, I think that's about it. If you have any other questions, feel free to comment below, and I'll get back as soon as I can. I have been checking my YouTube daily, so if there are new posts, I see them. So if you do have any questions, just post below and I will answer you back as soon as possible. Alrighty, have a good one, guys.